Ex-wife steals business. A revenge 3 years in the making. Edit. I just realized the title should be saying 2 years instead of 3, since that's when this all started. I don't know how I managed to tangle the numbers up so bad. Hi all. English is not my first language, so sorry for any mistakes. This story involves some legal details, but I am neither a lawyer, nor did I follow those aspects super closely, so sorry for inaccurate/vague terminology. Buckle up, this'll be a long one. Participants. Abe is a young, talented veterinarian. Sophia is his now ex-wife, from a very rich family. Yours truly is a humble software developer turned cybersecurity specialist 6 months ago. Backstory, it will be a lot of context, but skippable. Abe and Sophia both worked with my parents, who own a veterinarian clinic, Abe as a veterinarian, Sophia as an assistant. Abe is a bit of a pushover, but a nice guy. Sophia is very manipulative, borderline just evil. Around 4 years ago, Sophia was caught stealing from the cash register and fired. She pushed Abe till he also quit around half a year later. They founded their own veterinary clinic 2 towns over, though much smaller, with Abe being the only doctor. While we all really hated Sophia, and my parents really were mad at Abe for defending her, I still liked Abe and wished him the best. I helped him set up a website and some other IT stuff that will come into play later. The story. So, 2 years after Sophia and Abe started up their own veterinary clinic, it was going well. Legally, Sophia and her family owned 49% of the company, Abe owned 46%, and another investor owned 5%. This other investor was supposedly neutral, but turned out to be friends with Sophia's family. Sophia and the investor decided to basically fuck Abe out of the business. I don't exactly know why, but having known Sophia for years, I am assuming Beelzebub warned her she is running low on her quota of ruining lives. Basically, they founded a new veterinary company and started selling the assets of the old company to it for basically no money. Since they had over 50% of shares between Sophia and the other investor, they could do this. With this type of organization in my country, 51% control means you have the final say. They couldn't technically just fire Abe, but since they ran the original company into the ground, he was still out. He was the only doctor and did most of the work, and it turned out they had a non-compete clause that meant he couldn't start up a new business. And while he wasn't on the worst possible terms with my parents, the only other clinic in the area that wasn't just a single doctor and could hire him, it was enough of a bridge burn that he basically had no choice of working as a vet in this whole region. So Abe was left with no job, and all the money he invested into his company being effectively stolen. Oh, they also tried to fuck me out of payment for making them some functionality for the clinic's website that let people reserve time slots and receive veterinarians' notes online, and also for setting up their company emails. The actual revenge. So, Abe was shit out of luck, and I was out having a drink with him to cheer him up when the topic turned to who the new veterinarian would be to do the actual work. Not insinuating that vet assistants don't do actual work. Sophie specifically doesn't. She is afraid of dogs and won't hold them. Abe did all the management stuff on the website and ordering medical stuff, even a cleaning. We had no clue, but I was a tad pissed, both up and off. So I decided to check if they removed my access to all the IT stuff when we yelled at each other over payment. They didn't. And they didn't change the company email addresses, password either. We decided to snoop, which was technically barely not illegal, since Abe was part of the company for like 2 more weeks at the time. And this was an overall company email, not Sophie's. We found 3 applicants, all of whom we immediately and very, very rudely rejected. Veterinary medicine is a small world in this country, so good luck with finding another doctor. The actual nuclear part, however, came 2 years later, when Abe was already in the middle of a very long court battle, since as you can imagine, what Sophie and the investor did is not exactly 100% legal. I was cleaning up some stuff on my work laptop when I noticed they still didn't manage to remove my access to their system years later. See, we knew the clinic, the new company, was still going on, but they had a hard time finding veterinarians. Can't imagine why, and the ones they could get left quickly. As I poked around in their system, I saw that the veterinarian on the different case logs for weeks at a time was written as Sophie in the internal database. See, as it later came out, she was pretending she was an actual vet when there wasn't a real one employed for weeks, and even forged prescriptions. Now the thing is, me accessing this info is legally dubious at best. Sharing it with Abe would be even worse. In the last couple of years, however, I was studying cybersecurity to become an ethical hacker, and would you know it, dumbass, never learned any cybersecurity. Me 2 years ago accidentally left in a vulnerability that a smart attacker could use to read data from the internal database. In layman's terms, you could inject input that would cause the database to send a request to any old server out there containing this confidential data, such as a server an attacker owns. Just a couple days later, the leaked database showing Sophie's fraud ended up posted anonymously to a forum I happened to read. For legal reasons, it definitely wasn't me who posted it. I just happened to find it right after it was posted from a fresh account and archived it in the 15-minute window before the mods deleted it. I did send an email to Sophia when I first saw the issue in the code. I was worried me accessing the system would show up in logs and would be suspicious, saying I found a security flaw while going through my old code, and to contact me about fixing it. I must have forgot. She mainly uses the clinic's main address, instead of the one that is like sophie@clinics_name.com, which she checks like once a month at best. How forgetful of me. When Abe's lawyer got the judge to order a full audit of these logs and the prescriptions, Sophie tried to delete the full database, failing to remember the backup it makes every week. I am not a lawyer, but I feel confident giving the advice that trying to delete evidence a judge ordered you to provide does not play well with courts. It strongly looks like she'll end up serving time. As a cherry on top, I helped Abe patch things up with my parents, and he got his old job back. He's been back for a year and just got a promotion and a raise. I am currently sipping on some rum as I'm typing this that he bought me as thanks from his first bigger salary. Edit. I forgot to originally mention it, but was reminded while I was replying to a comment. All the animals that Sophia treated are being followed up on by government officials. Abe had access to the logs cause of the court case and looked it over as well, though he couldn't follow up with everyone personally. So far, it looks like she at least didn't harm any animals. She mainly just gave mandatory vaccinations, removed stitches, did drops and sprays against ticks and fleas, that sort of stuff. All perfectly within a practiced veterinary assistant skill set. Still highly illegal, LOL. If you enjoyed this story, like and follow for more.